Hi guys, I'm Danielle. I'm a homeschooling mom to two boys ages 8 and 12. We've been homeschooling for 4 years and we're loving it. But I did have major fear of walking through and actually starting our homeschool journey. I was scared beyond belief, and today I want to talk about that. Homeschooling came on my radar when my son was in third grade, and things started happening that I wasn't a fan of. It broke my heart. Things were happening to him that I just didn't want to see happening, and I don't know, I feel like there's always those kids and things, and it just, no things really change. I don't think a school system can really change much in kids' behaviors and whatnot. And I don't know, things were just rubbing me the wrong way. And I don't know, I had a light bulb moment about homeschooling, but I wasn't certain. And so I started thinking about it and journaling about it and researching about it. Um, but still, my son was in third grade and the school year ended, and I signed him up for the next school year. I think we got the paperwork at the end of the year, so I went ahead and registered him. My younger son was going to be starting kindergarten, so I registered him. Um, but I kept researching it, and it was just so heavy on my heart to do that it was always in the back of my head. And so I had a notion that I wanted to try doing a mock homeschool over the summer. So I did tons of research, watched tons of awesome YouTube videos, learned about curriculum, and over the summer we kind of did a mock homeschool, and it went fine, but I kind of just was like, well, maybe I'll have them go through kindergarten and fourth grade, and at the end of that year I'll have everything figured out, and then we'll homeschool the following year. So kindergarten and fourth grade rolled around, and again, things started happening. And my son, um, like for instance, he said these kids chase me at recess, and I hide from them, but they like are hitting me in the stomach, and I don't even know why they're doing it, and this and that. And then another thing happened with my younger son, something totally different, and it had to do with like his vaccine schedule, and I wasn't totally up to date, but I had just done a bunch of vaccines right before he started school, but then like a month later they're like he needs all these vaccines or he can't come into the school. So I was just like, I don't know, it was so heavy on my heart. And like I said, I have journal page after journal page of me just pouring out my heart on trying out homeschool. And so when I got the letter about my son and the vaccines, I was like, okay, God, I think this is my sign that I need to just go for it. So I started by pulling out my kindergartner. Um, I wrote a letter to the school and said that we were homeschooling, and his older brother was still going to school, and I finally, like a week later, sent the letter for him to start homeschooling. I was terrified. I think I started drinking coffee. I was like barely eating. I just had all this pressure on me because I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this to work so badly. And some things I did in the beginning definitely didn't stick and didn't work out, um, because it's a learning experience. And in my head, I wanted it to be like public school, which again, that changed. Fortunately, our curriculum that I did pick, everything pretty much worked out pretty well in that regard. So, um, and actually, I think in the beginning I didn't even have all the curriculum that I did eventually build up to have. But honestly, that first year, I would strictly only homeschool at home. When I say that, meaning like don't do crazy co-ops, don't like have yourself pulling in all these directions with clubs and, you know, things, co-ops and things like that. Because for us, I found that to get our rhythm and to just figure it out, period, you needed that year. Um, so it was, for instance, I think it was amazing. One thing I found that was a positive right away was my son that's in fourth grade. He would literally come home from public school, do his homework, we'd eat dinner, he'd get a shower, and go to bed. And then every single day, that was like the hamster wheel. Wake up, go to school, come home from school, do homework, eat, go to bed, blah, 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 blah. And so, were my kids exhausted? Yes. Were they playing much after school? They wanted to play, but like my older son had homework and he, I don't know, is somewhat of a dilly-dallyer sometimes. So yeah, it was just like a vicious cycle. And the number one thing I can say, my kids play so much. They have such a great creativity. They're each other's best friend. And that has just flourished since homeschooling. There's so much more time to play and be free and to just be more creative. So I love that. Um, I'm just so glad that I walked through the fear that I had, and now I know that I'm on the other side of it. And we're just so much closer. We have so much good conversation every single day. We can dive in deeper on a subject. Because my boys, they love animals. Right now we're doing like a amphibian, fish, and some reptile science unit. So you can basically learn what your kids want to learn. Dive deep with what they want to learn. If they need extra, you know, assistance in math and they're not getting something, you can slow down. You can go at your own pace. And that's what I love about homeschooling. The last thing I want to say that I physically told myself when I decided to truly do it in homeschool is that nothing in life is permanent. So if we would have tried homeschooling and it was a total flop, guess what? They can go back to public school or private school or Catholic school or whatever school or charter school, whatever. Nothing is permanent. And so if you don't take risks in life, you are going to regret it. So if it is weighing as heavy on your heart as it was mine, do it. Just do it. If you feel it in your heart, you got to do it. Because you can always have your child go back. And give yourself a lot of grace in the beginning when you do it. I would just say do a lot of research, have curriculum, in mind, and have, your ducks in a row as good as you can before you start, but just start. And it's okay to start out slow and build up and find your flow. And right now, my previous video was on our morning basket. Like, I probably didn't even do a morning basket for, I don't know, a while, or not as extensive. And I probably just did those main core subjects in the beginning, just the most important things. Get that down first and then find your flow. I know you all can do it. It has really changed our life. We have so much freedom. I have such a good relationship with my kids. They are best friends. And I just have nothing but amazing things to say. Of course, you have to prepare for hard days, prepare for, attitudes, tears, subjects that are going to be hard for your children. You just have to know that in your head. So when those days come, you're like, okay, got this. Yep, knew this would come one day. And just roll with it and be so kind and patient, because if you're butting heads and you're controlling, it's just not going to go well. So just have lots of grace with yourself, have lots of grace with your children. And I just have nothing but the best things to say about homeschooling, and I'm proud to be a homeschooling mom, and I love it. And so if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below, and I would love to hear if anyone is on the fence or is thinking about it, or if it's just, on your heart to do, but you just can't leap to the next, choice of doing it. So thank you so much for joining me, and everybody have a great day.